It's the Chris and Chris show. On today's show, very, very, very rough game against the Leafs. Injuries, 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 and more injuries. And a preview against the Ottawa Senators that we will win, and the Hurricanes will not win. Do not go away. Set up, Chris.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yeah, a little bit of a pause right there. Hello, Chris. Can you hear me okay, buddy? Can you hear me?
Clear. Although I was able to hear that stupid video because of my sound machine.
All right. Your sound machine. What's good? Everything okay? We good? We good?
Chris.
All right. Give me that. All right. We're having some fun, guys. We're having some fun. We're recording on a Friday night. The kids are all sugared up. We've all had hot fudge sundaes and stuff. So it's, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit off the rails tonight. But we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. We're going to have more fun than the Golden Knights have been having for the last 2 weeks. So that's, I guess, the serious side of this. So, all right, Chris, Leafs, that's not good, dude. That was not a good game. Obviously, I was there up in the press box talking to the players after the game, talking to Coach Cassidy. Just not good. Not good. Not good. The Golden Knights lose 7-3 in a game they trailed 4-0 and 6-1 in. A little bit of hope at the start of the third. Golden Knights get 2 goals in the first 85 seconds of the third period. And then they hit 2 posts, right? Hit 2 posts. I was about to go negative, but the Golden Knights hit 2 posts, and then it went negative after that. So Golden Knights dropped the decision 7-3. Aiden Hill gets pulled. This is what the Golden Knights looked like in their first game of the season that did not have one or both of Jack Eichel and Mark Stone in the lineup. And I don't like it, Chris. I don't like it. So I guess my first question for you, Chris, if 1 is no big deal and 2 is you're really nervous and concerned, how nervous and concerned are you about the Golden Knights right now going forward from this moment?
On a scale of 1 to 10, right now it's an 8.
Okay, so you're concerned that the Golden Knights are having in a really bad spot right now. Why is your concern at an 8, Chris?
Without Eichel, without Stone, and without 100 million trillion thousand other players.
Yeah, don't go too fast in the injuries. Let's talk about something besides injuries, because we're going to recap all the injuries in the second segment. So whatever you're doing, just stop before something falls down up there. All right, so
I'm trying to prevent something from falling down.
Fair enough. Okay. See, me and Chris plan this just as well as me and Tony plan our shows, so at least the apple doesn't far from the tree here. So besides the injuries, let's get away from the injuries. Let's get away from the injuries for a second. Some things that Coach Cassidy talked about in the post-game presser last night. He said the Golden Knights are easy to play against. It is not hard for teams to come right into T-Mobile and blow them out. Talked about the team not having an identity. Talked about there's no time for excuses. The veterans need to do what they do. And the young players, they're young. Yeah, they have limited NHL experience, but they've played a few games. They're starting to learn. So besides injuries, Chris, and you can take this negatively or positively, but outside of the injuries, what are you concerned about right now besides injuries?
More injuries?
And more injuries possibly happening. Yeah. I mean, listen, I understand all the things Coach Cassidy said, and Coach definitely looked he looked a little upset last night, and his answers were pretty quick as we were talking to him after the game, and it makes sense. It does. Last night's game, the Leafs are a really, really, really good team. They're scoring goals at will. They came into last night's game 8-2 in their last 10 games, and now they're on a 6-game winning streak after their defeat of the Golden Knights Thursday nights. But the Golden Knights didn't make it hard on the Leafs. You had so many turnovers. Mason Morelli had an early turnover. I believe Braden McNabb turned a puck over at the other blue line that led to a high-quality scoring chance for the Leafs early on. You have players like Nick Hague losing puck battles. Paul Cotter just hasn't looked the part at all recently. He's been struggling. You have Nick Waugh, Marchessault, and Ivan Barbashev contributing as best they can, but they're not getting a lot of help right now. So the middle six, the middle part of the lineup, as Coach Cassidy refers to it, really needs to step up right now. And without Jack Eichel in the lineup, Nick Waugh's been doing wonderful. But Nick Waugh's not Jack Eichel. And last night, Keegan Colasar took Mark Stone's spot in the lineup on the second line right wing spot. I can see your concern about that, Chris. Keegan Colasar is not going to replace Mark Stone, unfortunately. No one's going
So that's why he barely scored.
Well, listen, they got 3 goals last night. If you had told me the Golden Knights would have had 3 goals last night, I would have told you they would have had a competitive game. They would have had a chance to be in the game. Aiden Hill, first goal, like the game started so good. The Golden Knights came to play, Chris, for the first 4 or 5 minutes. And then the first goal that the Leafs score, Aiden Hill gets it with his blocker. It goes right off the side of Alec Martinez in the net. And then you got giveaways after that. And just, it was, we've had these games, Chris, in our 10U league, buddy, where it's going well. And in the second period, we just get blown out. It happens. So will the Golden Knights get better? They are, let's see, how many games do the Golden Knights have remaining right now? Last night was game number 57. So by my math, there's 25 games left in the season, Chris. The Golden Knights to make the playoffs, to simply make the playoffs, will need, let's just call it 95 points right now, buddy. 95 points. To get 95 points, they need to average a point a game. So basically, Chris, if they can go 12-13 or 12-1, however you want to get there, can the Golden Knights get 25 points in the next 25 games?
At least I hope.
Okay. I'm with you on that, Chris. I think they certainly can put in a good effort. And we got Allie. We got all 3 of us again tonight. I think the Golden Knights have the ability to do better than what they've been doing. Again, I'm trying to stay away from the injuries, but the reality is the team will get better as the season progresses, even without however long Eichel's going to be out, however long Mark Stone is going to be out. The team will definitely get better. And 25 points, 25 games, it's not that tall of a task. All they got to do is play about 500 hockey, which means win an equal amount of games as they lose. So, Chris, what do you think? 25 points on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 means it's not going to happen. 10 means it's going to happen. On a scale of 1 to 10, can the Golden Knights get 25 points? How confident are you? Al, you can answer the question too.
I'll say between 7 and 6.
Okay, 6 and 7. Allie, do you agree with Chris that the Golden Knights have a 60 or 70% chance of getting 25 points in the next 25 games?
I'd say like 5% chance in the middle.
Like 50. You're saying like a 5. Okay, 50%. Yeah. You guys aren't wrong. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with the Golden Knights in the distant future. We don't know how the other players are going to step up, and we don't know what Kelly McCrimmon is going to do to increase, to bring players back that are going to help. So we will have to just kind of wait and see exactly how things shake out. All right, Chris, anything else with the Leafs game? I know you didn't catch a lot of it. We talked about it. Anything else about the Leafs game we even need to talk about, Chris, or are we just going to move on?
Roll the tape on the highlights.
Yeah, there's no highlights. All right, so we are going on to the injuries right now. So there was some more injury news today. Another player called up, Brett Howden. Brett Howden. This is one of those things.
Quick. Roll Allie's tape.
This is just one of those things that just all right.
Set up, Chris.
All right, there we go. Okay. You just realized that's what she said? You didn't catch that earlier?
I thought it was injuries.
No. Okay, so let's get back to this, Chris, okay? Let's get back to this right now, guys. All right, listen. Injuries. Brett Howden
More injuries.
from being declared day to day. All right. This is not good for the Golden Knights. This is definitely not good for the Golden Knights. Brett Howden now joins Mark Stone, Will Carrier, and Pavel Dorofeev all on injured reserve. Jack Eichel and Tobias Bjornfoot, Robin Leonard, of course, but Jack Eichel, Tobias Bjornfoot remain on long-term injured reserve. There is good news, though, Chris, about Jack Eichel. Jack Eichel possibly traveled with the team to Ottawa, and we could see him on this 5-game road trip somewhere. My perspective is the Golden Knights are going to try and get him in the lineup for 1 or 2 games on this road trip near the end. When the Golden Knights come back from this road trip, you got the schedule in front of you there, buddy, or no?
Yeah.
So when the Golden Knights come back from this road trip, who's the first team they're going to see?
Vancouver.
Yes, that is an extremely important game. So talk about Vancouver for a second and why this is kind of a bittersweet moment for the Golden Knights in the season. So the Vancouver Canucks have lost 4 games in a row. 4 games in a row. The Golden Knights have played 4 not good home games. So, Chris, let's just pretend for a second the Golden Knights won their last 4 home games, including the game against the Hurricanes, Allie, that you really enjoyed watching the Hurricanes win, of course.
Woo-hoo!
The Golden Knights would only be 2 points behind. They would only be 2 points behind the Vancouver Canucks in the Pacific Division for the lead. And the Golden Knights have 3 games against the Vancouver Canucks throughout remaining in the season. In addition to that, the Golden Knights have played 2 less games than the Canucks. So that's why this is really concerning right now. So, Chris and Allie, we can talk about this again if you'd like now. Jack Eichel, let's just say he comes back anytime during this road trip. The trade deadline's coming up, Chris. Trade deadline's coming up in about 2 weeks, I believe, from today now, 14 days away. If Mark Stone's going to miss the rest of the regular season, they're going to move him to long-term injured reserve and be able to make a trade for a player or a couple of players to improve this team. History dictates Kelly McCrimmon, the general manager of the Golden Knights, is going to make a move. All right? Is going to make a move. How confident are you now in the stuff I just said that the Golden Knights can get those 25 points in the next 25 games to comfortably at least make the playoffs?
5.
You went down?
Yes.
Why are you going down? The Golden Knights are going to get better and get new players. Or Mark Stone's going to get back.
Okay, 7.
Okay, no, I was just curious. I mean, I know if you were legitimately concerned or maybe were confused with the question. I follow what you're saying. Okay, I follow what you're saying. So, I mean, listen, there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of tough things happening right now. And it's no different, Chris, than in our league, right? You know, some of our players are missing sometimes, and other players need to step up to do a little bit better. And this is something that Coach Cassidy talked a lot about, and it's something that I'm really buying into from the media side and just watching the games with you. And, you know, I get to go to a few games a year and be a fan as well. The best thing I've heard this season was about players becoming the best versions of themselves, Chris. What are you doing, buddy? Hey, stop.
Scratching up some spilled water.
All right, we can deal with that later. Let's focus here. Focus with me. We can clean that up later. Don't worry. All right, so the Golden Knights, Coach Cassidy talked about the players becoming the best versions of themselves. No one's replacing Jack Eichel. No one's replacing Mark Stone directly. But what needs to happen, Chris, is the players all need to be a little bit better. They need to be played to the best of their ability. There's no better example of this right now than Nick Waugh. Nick Waugh has really taken his game to a new level. So, Chris, I'm going to list some names for you. I want you to tell me if you think one of these players can just really kind of do what Nick Waugh did. I'm not saying they become like a superstar.
Wait, Nick Waugh's in injured reserve?
No, Nick Waugh is healthy. Don't say that. He might get hurt now. No, Nick Wa's good. Nick Wa's good. Nick Wa's been playing really, really well since Jack Eichel went down. He took over that spot on the top line center position. Brendan Brisson played last night. I thought Brisson actually had a good game. He was physical. Brisson, Chris, do you think Brendan Brisson can become someone who's contributing on a semi-regular basis? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
I just don't think he's ready yet. Like
That's fair. I mean, listen. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe next season or even season 9, but I don't think he's doing it this year.
So I feel Brisson took a nice step forward, right? He played a few games, scored his first NHL goal. Not against the Preds. It was the game after that. Whoever they played after that. Oh, the Penguins. Penguins. There we go. Because Sidney Crosby, his old babysitter. Brisson scores his first goal, and he got lost in some games after that, which is normal. It's okay. But what I will say is last night, Brisson was very physical, Chris. He had a couple hits, but it wasn't just about the hits. He was separating players from the puck. Let's think about, okay, here's a player. This is not a player who you would think would need to step up, just continue. Chandler Stevenson. What do you think about Chandler Stevenson this season, buddy?
I think he can. If, for example, Nick Waugh gets hurt, and then we trade.
No one else getting hurt. Stop it.
And then I believe he's next on the list. And then for some reason, if he gets hurt, I think Mrs. Haig will step up.
You're all about the Hagerbomb, buddy. You just live for the Hagerbomb right now. Listen, Stevenson, yes, Stevenson is very important to the Golden Knights right now. Stevenson, there's a lot of things going on with Chandler right now. This is a contract year for Chandler Stevenson, number one, Chris. So what that means is after this season, the Golden Knights, well, they can make a decision sooner than that, but the Golden Knights have to make a decision if they're going to offer him more money to stay with the Golden Knights or if they're simply going to let him go to a different team and possibly make more money. The problem is Chandler Stevenson is on pace for his worst season, I believe, in 4 or 5 years, or at least the last 4 years. He's on pace for 42, 43 points, something like that. After getting in the high 50s, even 60 points, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the mid to high 50s for a couple years prior. So this would be such a good time for Chandler Stevenson to get going. Pavel Dorofeev, the Golden Knights really miss him, buddy, don't you think? I really wish he was out there. Mason Morelli, younger player, Byron Frais, Sheldon Rempel, any of those players, Chris, make you excited? Jacob Demick just got called up from the Silver Knights. Demick's stats, he's played 44 points. He's got 44 games. He's played 44 games. He has 13 points, Chris. 5 goals in the AHL.
Your camera's glitchy.
I'm glitchy?
Yeah, your camera's was acting weird.
Okay, that happens. That's okay. Let's keep going, buddy. So any of those names I said, any of those players really standing out to you as someone that can, I won't say turn the season around like the Golden Knights are this bad team. They're not. But any of those names make you excited that, hey, one of these guys is going to do it. It's Jonas Ronbjerg, another one. Yeah. I mean, Chris, listen, you're not wrong right now. And you shaking your head like that. There's 1,000 Golden Knight fans agreeing with you right now. I'm not saying one of those players can't help out and contribute. I'm not saying I don't think the possibility is there. But, you take away your 2 best players from any team and you can't replace them immediately, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. But like I said, positive. Jack Eichel, very close. Will Carey, not much farther behind. Going for a walk, buddy. What are we doing here?
The only ones who I think are going to stand out are the ones who are with us for this.
Yeah, and there's a good chunk of players that were with us for that, as you stated. Oh, you're going crazy back there. Going crazy. Okay. There were a lot of players that were there. But the thing is, Chris, the vets need to teach the new players what it takes to lift that up. And that's also part of the issue right now. And I think Coach Cassidy is going to hold the leaders accountable to do that. So let's get out of this segment, Chris. Get that out of there, buddy. I can't see your face. Get it out of there.
Hi.
That's fine. Leave it right there. Okay, we're gonna do this one really quickly. We're gonna talk about the Ottawa Senators. We'll see what happens. Ottawa right now, last place in the Atlantic. 51 points, but they're playing decent hockey as of late, Chris. They are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. Looking at their game log at they beat the Dallas Stars recently at home 4-1. That's a big win. In Florida, they lost to the Panthers in overtime. Panthers are playing well. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, but lost to the Hawks, lost to the Ducks, beat the Blue Jackets. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3, and the Maple Leafs just crushed the Golden Knights 7-3. So I don't know what to say, Chris. I don't know where that game's going to end up going, buddy. You can you want to lead off locks of the night? You go right ahead. What do you think, buddy?
I think it's definitely going to be a close and high-scoring game. I have to say 5 for Ottawa in overtime. I still think Vegas is going to pull off the point, but I don't see them getting past Ottawa, at least not without an overtime game. So if Vegas wins, I think it's going to be overtime with high-scoring game, but I won't be surprised if Ottawa wins in regulation or OT.
4 goals for the Golden Knights. Who's going to be involved in the scoring?
Hager Bomb.
Hagen, who else?
So Marty.
Martinez?
Marty.
Marchi or Marty? No, because Marty is Alec Martinez. That's what I heard, buddy.
No, I'm going to find Martinez.
You're taking Martinez after all? That's...
Yeah.
I'll write down Marty. Okay, so Chris officially 5-4 Ottawa in overtime. Hagerbaum and Alec Martinez, defense going to step up, which actually that's a good call. I'm okay with that. Chris, I'm going to kind of tail you a little bit. I'm going to say the game goes to overtime, but I'm going to take Vegas 6-5 in overtime. I'm with you on just a weird road game. First one, Golden Knights long travel up to Ottawa, crossing, I believe, 2 time zones in the process. So we'll see if the Golden Knights have any lingering effects of that. Chandler Stevenson, we're talking about him, and Mike Amadio. Stevenson and Mike Amadio, I think, will step up in this spots. Anything else, Chris? Or are we done, buddy? Anything else on your mind regarding the goaltenders? Who's the starting goalie tomorrow night? Aiden Hill or Logan Thompson?
By the game he had, I bet LT. By the game Hill had LT.
LT let up 4 goals in the same game, though. That's the thing. Like, I don't know, man. I thought Logan should have had the start on Thursday against the Leafs. That's my perspective. And honestly, I think both goalies could have been in the net at the same time. The Golden Knights would have lost. That's how bad that game was, but whatever. All right, so me and you are both going to agree LT gets to start Saturday against the Ottawa Senators.
Yep.
Okay. All right, that's going to do it for the Chris, and Allie show today. Had the whole family. The only thing we're missing were some cats, I guess, and mommy. But we'll take the 3 of us for the show. Good show as always. A lot of fun, folks. Really appreciate everyone that does take a moment out of their day to check out Locked On Vegas Golden Knights, whether it's Monday through Friday with myself and Tony, anywhere you get your podcast, and on YouTube, or if it is on Saturdays for the Chris.
Before we leave, I have to say something. Shut up, Allie!
We appreciate everyone that watches the Chris, and now Allie show, making some appearances. That is our Saturday YouTube exclusive. But if you're watching, you already know that. So tell someone else that doesn't know about it. Let's get some more people checking out this Saturday show. Skip the cartoon. Just check out the Chris and Chris show. Thank you to the everydayers to take a moment out of your day. Thank you to the super everydayers that give us your time for the 6th show of the week. All right, for myself, for Chris, for Allie, for Pumpkin, Dorito, Cheese Cat, Garlic, and any other critters that made an appearance on the shows.
Dorito, or Cat, Garlic for the last time.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good night, and take care.